Welcome to the Explainer. Today, we're literally putting on our detective hats and stepping onto a financial crime scene. I mean, we've all been there, right? You're staring at your trading screen after an absolutely disastrous session, watching your capital just vanish, and wondering, what on earth just happened? Well, today, our mission is to dissect one of these disastrous sessions piece by piece. We're going to conduct a forensic autopsy on a real trading chart to uncover this hidden trap that catches thousands of traders off guard every single year. Let's dive right in. Okay, let's dive into this. What actually happens to the market's mechanics when most of the financial world is off at a barbecue or, just spending time with their families? There's this massive temptation to pull up your charts on a day off, thinking you can squeeze out a few extra points of profit. But when you attempt to trade while the broader market is basically sleeping, the physics of price action fundamentally change. It's a total hidden danger zone, and as you'll see in today's case study, stepping into it can be absolutely fatal to your account. So here's our sole piece of evidence. This is a 5-minute chart for the Micro E-mini NASDAQ 100 futures, or what we usually just call MNQ. The date? May 25th, 2026. Now, for those of you checking your calendars, that date was Memorial Day in the US, a major federal holiday. We're going to work backwards from the totally chaotic price action you see here to find the exact cause of death for the trades executed during this session. Phase 1, Anatomy of a Loss. Let's walk through the chronological timeline of the pain here. The trader starts early. At 2:05 a.m., they enter the market selling short 4 contracts at 29,898.75. Just 10 minutes later, at 2:15 a.m., bam, the market spikes violently, and a brutal stop loss is hit at 29,958.75. That is a swift, nasty loss. But, they aren't done. Seeking a little revenge, at 3:20 a.m., they try again, selling short 4 more contracts at 29,936.75. Now, this position doesn't immediately stop out, but it definitely doesn't drop either. It just kind of drags on in pure agony, chopping sideways for hours, until 12 p.m., where it's just a forced, completely disappointing exit on the early session close. So 2 trades, 2 entirely frustrating outcomes. Phase 2, uncovering the cause. So what's actually going on here? Well, it all comes down to liquidity, or liquidities. Basically, having enough active volume, buyers and sellers in the market for trades to execute smoothly. Think of it like this. Imagine trying to sell a house in an absolute ghost town. I mean, no matter what your asking price is, if there are literally 0 buyers walking the streets, you're not going to make a deal. That ghost town, that's a low liquidity market. And this brilliantly illustrates the contrast. On a normal, healthy trading day, you've got high volume, the big institutions are at their desks doing their thing. This creates smooth trends, recognizable chart patterns, and, relatively predictable moves. The market breathes naturally. But on a federal holiday, oh man, it is the complete opposite. You're left with incredibly low volume, erratic, choppy, sideways action, and unpredictable traps that will wick up, trigger your stop loss, and then instantly reverse. It's a meat grinder. It's an environment literally designed to chop up retail traders. Phase 3, the golden warning. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the autopsy report itself, planted squarely in the center of the dark chart. The trader literally annotated their own failure with this massive, bright yellow warning box. We're going to read exactly what they wrote, because this sticky note, it represents the ultimate hard-earned lesson of this entire explainer. The note starts with a very simple statement of fact. It says, 5/25/2026 was a federal holiday, and market doesn't have enough liquidities. I really want to let that sink in for a second. The technical indicators didn't fail. The chart pattern wasn't necessarily wrong. Actually, scratch that. The pattern didn't even matter. The exact calendar date is the culprit, because the massive institutional players, the banks, the hedge funds, those algorithmic giants that provide the absolute ocean of liquidity we trade in, they're all offline. They're observing Memorial Day. And when they leave, the liquidity leaves right out the door with them. And then the warning finishes with this incredible blunt energy. It says, do not trade. If you did, then here are 2 losers. I mean, the chart itself is literally shouting a harsh reality check at us. It's pointing directly back to those 2 specific short trades we just analyzed, the swift stop out and the agonizing sideways bleed, and saying, look, I told you so, this is what happens. This is the raw, unfiltered frustration of someone who completely ignored the holiday calendar and paid the ultimate price in capital. Phase 4, your survival strategy. So the crucial point is applying these holiday survival rules to your daily routine. Number 1, make it a habit to check the federal holiday calendar before you even launch your trading platform. Just do it. Number 2, respect low liquidity conditions. If the volume isn't there, the setup isn't there, period. Number 3, accept that sitting on your hands and doing absolutely nothing is a highly valid, highly profitable long-term strategy. Honestly, sometimes the absolute best trade is no trade at all. And finally, preserve your precious capital for high-probability days when the major players are actually at the table.
We've dissected the loss, identified the low liquidity cause, and built your defensive strategy. The evidence left on that yellow sticky note just couldn't possibly be clearer. So I'm going to leave you with this final provocative thought. When the next major holiday rolls around and you're really tempted to fire up your charts just to see what's happening, will you protect your portfolio or will you become the subject of our next autopsy report? The choice is entirely yours. Stay disciplined, keep your powder dry when the market sleeps, and I'll see you in the next explainer.